Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. It is Monday. Happy Monday to everybody out there. I hope you are doing well. Well, it looks as if, once again, it's a tough market to trade. Boy, I tell you what, I did a little bit of movement on my stocks today. Basically, just moved over some of my stocks. I did sell some of my gold stocks, AEM. I sold that, and I did some other kind of rearranging the rearranging of the deck chairs on the Titanic. But yeah, I mean we're moving forward now. It did appear we did have some stuff come into. Let's flip it back. We did have some stuff that I did buy today, and that was primarily in the chip area. So kind of interesting there. Definitely in the chip area. I bought positions in Lattice Semiconductor today, which I think it moved very, very well. And I want to show you a stock. You're probably familiar with this one. I don't know if you're familiar with this one or not, but it's called Five Below. Now, I did not buy this one today, but I am looking at it very closely. And part of the reason I'm looking at it is because it is set up very, very nicely. Now, here's the thing about Five Below. It is a stock that is in the retail sector, which I have not really had very good luck with the retail sector as of late, but it gapped up today tremendously, and I think you can see this on the chart. I'm gonna move the chart over here. Let's see if we can do that. I tell you what, I'm not with my normal camera today, so I'm having a little bit of issues moving around here but let's share the screen for Five Below, and then I think you can see it. Here we go. There we go. Here's Five Below. Let's see if we come on, and hopefully that will work there. There we go. All right. This is the chart for Five Below. Interesting chart in that it. Let's see if we can move it over for people here on TikTok. There we go. If you can see this. Basically, what's going on here is that it came down and it bounced off the 50-day line, and then it came up above this pivot. Now, it is a little bit extended here, so it's not in a place probably where we can adequately buy it. Unfortunately, I wish it were. So it's going to be a little bit of a stretch to get in on Five Below, but I definitely think if we get this thing to pull back a little bit, this might be an option. 95 relative strength here, so that's looking very, very good. 95 relative strength here, so it's looking very, very strong, and it moved up very nicely today. It's just 6.30% above the 21-day line, but that indeed is looking pretty good. So definitely something that we can definitely take a look at here. Also, let's take a look also just for fun here at, hopefully we can get it in the viewer here. Boy, I tell you, again, always seem to have issues with this, and hopefully I can get that a little bit better than we're seeing it. So there we go. So this is Five and Below, and let's see if we can zoom on over to another chart here. It's much easier actually if you watch this on YouTube, because I don't have the issues with the camera that I do with TikTok. Unfortunately, TikTok has some issues regarding just how the camera is set up and everything, so not as easy to deal with. But I want to show you Five Below, nice chart, and then also I want to show you one that I did buy today, and that was let's see, let me go back to stocks held long here. This is kind of what I have currently long Let's see. Okay, Allegro Microsystems, ALGM. I did put a little video on this one. ALGM. Of course, my videos aren't that great in terms of technical quality, so just that's one thing you got to look at. But ALGM, I did buy this one today. It moved very nicely. Let's see if we can get that for the screen there. There we go. Okay, so this is a little bit easier to see kind of what's happening here with ALGM. It's in the semiconductor area, the fabless area, 3 out of 197. So very strong area when it comes in here. It did come down and it bounced off of that 50-day line and then moved right up to the 21-day line. So this is a really good place. Buying as close to the 21-day line is a very good thing to do. I was able to buy almost at the 21-day, just about 1% above that line. It's got a relative strength of 99. This is very strong in terms of its overall relative strength to the market. And the checklist, and this is one thing I like to really emphasize here, the checklist is 100% on this one. So this is one of the top performing stocks. It's pulled back and definitely a place that I definitely think you can jump into it as well. I want to show you a stock that I sold today. And it wasn't because I just wanted to take some profits. It's AEM, and it's a stock that's in the gold sector, the gold mining sector. So this is an area of the market that is getting a lot of love right now. And let's see if we can kind of take a look at this one. Yeah, there we go. This is AEM. I did sell it as it came in and pulled back a little bit. Usually what I'll do is I'll come into when I come in, as you can see there, I came in right before the bounce, and then I will set my stop losses high so that when it comes down, typically I'm out of the stock. This had a 100% checklist, but it is now less than that. But definitely think that I'll still probably look to see if I have an entry point on this one as well. AEM, and this one I did sell today, took profits in it. So we did pretty good on that one. So great. So let's get into the questions with Charles. Thank you very much. I've been negative for so long now with several indicators pointing to a bullish outlook. What should we be thinking? Well, I think what we ought to be thinking out is we ought to be looking at the overall market. Let's jump on over to the Spider SPY and see if there's anything there that we can kind of look at. Let's see if I can get that chart up for you. Oh, goodness gracious. Symbol. Okay. For some reason, it just doesn't want to be kind to me today. SPY. There we go. All right. There we go. So this is the S&P 500 Trust. And if you watch me a lot, this is one I like to concentrate on. Why? Because, well, it's the 500 largest stocks in the market. So definitely something to definitely take a look at. And as you can see, we're starting to see a upward trend. And what we did is we came down, we tested at 380, and now we're starting to see an upward trend. And it does appear we have been below that. We've been below the 10-day line, and now it appears that we're trending above the 10-day line. So that's a little bit bullish. I don't expect this to move much higher than about 430. That's kind of where I'm kind of looking at it. So I think we have a little bit to go up to here. So I definitely think we're starting to see a bullish move on, but it's not a very strong rally. So be very, very careful here. It's not really a very strong rally. I did close my one short today, and that was on block. SQ. I did close that, did a nice little profit, but as it pulled back, I just don't want to be. I do sense that the market is starting to move higher. So that's something that I don't think long term it's going to be that great, but I think in the short term, yes, absolutely, we're going to see. We're going to see something. We're going to see something better there. Hey, Troy, thanks for checking. What's happening with oil? I think oil is strengthening, to be honest with you. And I wasn't really. I mean, today we had a nice day in oil. We had a nice day in oil today, and it does look like we're getting some strengthening there. Finally, I mean, it's been a while since that's the case. I'm going to jump on over and look at some of the. Let's see if I can see if just the price of oil. And I think part of the reason here is that it is it's just you know it's just again it's a tough market to trade, but I do think we're going to start to see some strength. So let's see if I can get West Texas Intermediate up here in terms of pricing. Let's see if it'll let me. No, it won't. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can take a look at the whole list. And let's see. We need oil here. CBOE. All right. Let's see if we can get that up. Utilities. Why can't I find it? There we go. Okay. So let's look at this oil index. There we go. All right. So we definitely have a situation here where we're starting to see the oil index move higher, and that is indeed, that's indeed what we want to see. So I started to take a position in ExxonMobil. It's down a little bit today, but I see that we're starting to make a move since really mid-February, March. We kind of bottomed here, and I think now we're starting to see some movement up. I think it's tested it, and it's going to go higher. Now the question is, how high is it going to go? Obviously, that's always the question. But I do think that we have moved in such a way that we may be seeing it move. Maybe seeing it move up here. Way I dealt with that, of course, is that I did buy ExxonMobil, XOM. Now it did go down, but I do think we're going to see some strength here. It's sort of been hanging out. It's sort of been hanging out here at about the 115 level. It seems like there's resistance at 115, and it looks like it's going higher. But I definitely think it's going to go higher, and I think that we're going to see it probably move above 120, hopefully here within the next week or so. It does appear that we came down, we tested way down here, and now I think we're going to start to see it move higher. But here's the thing: you want to limit your exposure to oil. I mean, there are some good things, but I think you should stay right now with the majors. That's going to give you your best bet. Now, here's the thing about the oil and gas integrated. This has been an area that has been strong, but it's not right now. I mean, it's basically not at the top of the list in terms of the strength. It's basically way down there. So, it just goes back and forth. It's just one of those things. All right, let's see for Troy again. You think I think we are headed into a recession. I agree with that, Troy, but it's not going to happen all at once. I think that we're going to get. I think the real problem is the weakness in the financials in some of the smaller regional banks. I mean, that's where I think you're going to see a lot of the weakness. I think that inflation is not going to be tamed here, and we're going to see a lot of a lot of damage in that. And we're just not going to see we're going to see a lot of damage in that space. So let's just take a look at the XLF, and that's going to give us kind of an idea of sort of, I think, the trend. Anyways, it's not gonna, it's. Here's the thing about the XLF. This is the financial trend. Now, I was short it, but I did close that short. It seems like we've come down. I think we potentially have another leg down. But here's the thing: be very careful. I would not short this until we come up to about 34 here, until we come up to this line, the 200-day line. So I think that this is potentially shortable, but we have to wait for it to bounce up. But I do think we are headed towards a recession. I do agree with you there. And yeah, there we go. All right, let's look at Baba. Baba, of course, is Alibaba. And I don't know if this is really investable. And part of the reason is it's so politically controlled. They did have Jack Ma under house arrest for quite a while, unfortunately. And I think they finally let him out. But, this is a politically charged stock. So it doesn't run totally on other things that the market runs on. We were in this downward trend, as you can see here. The floor is about 80, and then we've come up. But I just do not think this is investable overall. I wouldn't buy this one. This was a stock that was great about 2 years ago. Okay, so we got to kind of compensate for where we are in the market now. 2 years ago, I was buying space, and of course, it filed for bankruptcy. Now, I'm not saying that Alibaba is going to file for bankruptcy here, but I do believe that the overall trend just isn't our friend here. So I would stay out of it. I just would stay out of it. I think there's other places to be. The places I believe that the place to be in the market right now is not, it's either in the gold stocks, the oil stocks, or some of the semiconductor stocks. That's really the only areas that I think are, those are the areas that I think are the most investable. And let's kind of take a look. And what I'd like to do is take a look at the rankings of of where we are. And basically, if we look at the groups here, let's do that. Let's see if I can get the group list here. The rankings. Yeah, okay. Currently, and right now, the top group is leisure booking. Is leisure booking, but I am not as excited about this. This is mainly Booking.com. It's a very high price stock. Metal parts, there's only 3 in this, so I don't really concentrate on these two. This is one where I've been concentrating as of today and as of this week. It's the semiconductor fabless area, or G3676. So let's jump on over there real quick. G3676, and hopefully we're going to get something there. There we go. So this is the electronic area. This is the fabless. This is the chip sector, and this is where I've been looking for most of my buys. Now, today I bought Lattice Semiconductor, and as you can see, this is still looking pretty good. If you go over to the daily chart, you can see that we have pulled back. Now, hopefully it'll give me that. Yeah, there we go. The reason I bought Lattice today was it pulled back down to and as you can see my notations here, it pulled down to the 50-day line. It bounced up, and so I think it's looking very good. Let's take some of the notations off so you can kind of see it better, and increase the size of the screen. There we go. All right. So basically what happened is came down and it bounced here, and you can see how the relative strength is moving up once again. Today, I was a buyer of Lattice Semiconductor. Also notice Lattice Semiconductor has a 100% profile, a 100% checklist. So it's doing very, very well. And also, and this is critical, it's very close to the 21-day moving average. So technically, this is a very good setup to buy a company. So this is one of the ones I did buy today. We'll see how it does. You never can tell, but we'll see how it does. This one, Lattice Semiconductor, definitely something that you might want to take a look at, as opposed to Baba, because not that I dislike Baba, it's just that it's just not set up as well, and I think that it's just not it's not the way to go. Now, what I tried to do here, Charles, is I tried to show the sectors that are doing the best. Let's kind of go back here. Hopefully, you can see this. Again, this is the one that I've been concentrating on, the electronic semiconductor fabless area. This is what I've been moving on, because I do think it is one of the strongest. Also, we starting to see some mining stocks here, mining gold and silver. That's another area that I have been. Last week I was buying in this area. Gives you an idea of kind of what's going on. Now, here's the thing about the mining area. It typically moves as a group, so it's not as with semiconductor fabless, you kind of got to know the story. Interestingly enough, in the semiconductor fabless, some of the smaller companies are doing better than the larger companies. but there are opportunities in the semiconductor fabs and in the gold and gem mining area. So those are two that I really like. All right, let's take a look at Royal Gold, RGLD. RGLD. Let's kind of look at that one, see kind of what's going on there. And this is Royal Gold, and this is basically it's basically in the precious minerals. Has a sort of a cup with handle formation. Let's go over there and see, take a look at it. This cup handle and then the ascent. This is typically where you want to always try to, and this is the hardest thing to do. But again and again, you can see that again and again when it handles like this, where you want is when it turns, that's where you want to get into it. That's typically what'll happen is it'll be a cup, the handle will form, and then it'll pull back usually to like the 50-day line. At the 50-day, that's an ideal place to buy it, and then it's moved on up from here. Now the question is it out of range now? Let's take a look to see. Oops, let's see if I can get that back. It's relatively good checklist, 67%. So that's not necessarily bad, but on the technicals, we're 6% above the 21-day line. So we're getting a little extended here. We kind of need to wait for it to pull back to right about there, or about 129. I don't know if it'll do that, but I definitely don't want to buy it here. It's a little extended. Let it pull back a little bit, maybe to 131 or so, and then I think you might have a really good buy here. I do like the area that it's in. This is in the gold and silver mining, and it's 8 out of 197. So there's a lot of interest, especially in Asia. There's a lot of gold buying going on right now in Asia, and that is making the gold miners sell more. Now, typically, most of the people in Asia are not investing in the mines. They're investing in the raw gold and silver bars. But the demand is moving the price higher. And the interesting thing about this is their costs really remain the same, but with the price of gold and silver going up, they should do very, very well. So a good one to go. I definitely like Royal Gold. There's some other good ones too, but the good thing about most of as long as you're buying the ones that are fairly larger, there's three kinds of miners, gold miners. There's, the bigger gold miners like AEM. There's the intermediate like OR, and then there's some of the smaller ones. Now, Royal Gold is it's not huge, but it's not small either. It's kind of in the middle. And it's a pretty good one as well. Let's look at Netflix, NFLX. Now, part of the reason I don't really like Netflix is, and I've been wrong on this one tremendously, but the reason I don't like Netflix here is because I think first of all, I think it's overpriced. And second of all, I think that there's just a lot of competition that's coming in the market. That said, it's moving up a little bit after hours. The question is, can you buy it? Well, I don't know. It certainly is a big company, and the sales were up 2% last quarter. But here's what I'm worrying about with Netflix. It's a fairly mature company, and the price to earnings ratio on it is fairly high at 34. It needs to be down about 24 or so to be as good. So I probably would not be a buyer of Netflix here. That said, it definitely has, it's above the 200-day line. That's a good thing. And it's right about at the 21-day line. So I probably wouldn't be a buyer of Netflix here, but the stock is not doing as bad as it was before, but I don't think it's the right time to be in it. All right. Tom, let's see. Google and Micron. Okay, Seminole Pratt & Fisher. Interesting. All right, let's take a look at Micron. MU, of course, is Micron Technologies, and it is one of the largest independent memory producers in the world. There's basically three companies in this area. There's Micron, Samsung Industries, and Hynix, which is also a South Korean company. They tend to dominate the memory market. So this is the only one that's pretty much American. Now, for a long time, Micron had one of the lowest PE ratios. So let's take a look at the PE ratio um, on Micron here. And this is for this is for uh, uh, this is for TikTok. Last quarter, and we just put in the earnings here. Last quarter, the sales were off by 53%, and the EPS, the earnings per share, were down. Now, interestingly enough, the PE ratio is 28. Now, here's the thing about that. I just think that that's still too high when there's other better companies out there, because growth is not being rewarded like it was. So I can't really get behind Micron all that much, because their PEs are high. They have somewhat falling sales. So I'm not really as bullish on Micron. Now, if we do look at a semiconductor, let's take a look at two semiconductor companies that I want to compare here to kind of give you an idea. Now, the thing about Micron is it's in the area of it's in the storage area, but I want to compare Micron with a stock that I just bought today, LSCC, and give you kind of an idea of the difference between the two. And this should give you a kind of a good idea over the last year how both have done. And let's jump on over to the comparison between the two semiconductor companies, sort of the tale of two cities. All right, here we have Micron Technology, which is here, and this is over the last year. This is last year's performance, Micron versus LSCC. This is Lattice Semiconductor. You notice that Lattice is up by 80% and Micron is down by 10%. So that's not really that great. Let's just take a look at the last quarter performance with these two stocks. And we see this, and hopefully we can get that. Gives us that. Let's see, put the right year in there. There we go. This kind of gives us the difference between Lattice and MU. Now, MU is up more in the last quarter than Lattice, but if we look over the last 6 months, I think you'll see here. Hopefully, it'll move here. Oh. There we go. If we look over the last kind of year, LSCC is definitely outperforming. So let's see if I can go back to about the last 6 months and kind of look at that. More. That'd be 9/1/2022. There we go. And hopefully that will give us, yeah. So basically since September, you can see that Lattice definitely has outperformed, but they are both moving up. So I'd be careful with Micron right now. I really, really would. All right, NLST, ignore NLST at your own risk. All right, well, let's take a look at NLST. So I can look at the chart and see if we can analyze it. NLST. Okay. I don't see it. NLST. Let's try it again. NLST. Oh, it's not coming up there. Okay. Well, I guess I'm okay. What are your thoughts on Blink Charging? This is one of the stocks that I really liked. I think this is potentially a good acquisition target. I haven't really traded this one in a little over a year. BLNK, of course, is the symbol. But here's the problem with Blink Charging. It really hasn't been performing all that well in the last year or so. Let's take a look at the weekly chart here for Blink. Here we go with Blink. Yeah, here we go with Blink. You can see we're in this downward trend. And again, I just don't really think it's a good idea to buy a stock that's trending lower. Definitely that's been the case here. Now we're looking at the weekly chart here. But as you can see, I really haven't, as I say, I haven't really traded it since about a year. So a little over a year. So it is currently in a downward trend. It's got a relative strength of 6. I think you just got to wait on this one. They did have some nice sales come in here but they're still losing money, and this is the problem with the stock. So I would just avoid blink charging, at least for right now. I think that it's just not going to give you, it's not really going to give you what you need. I just don't think it's working. So be very, very careful with blink charging. This is the chart here for the last year. So as you can see, it's moving lower. All right, for Lisa, let's take take a look. Please take a look at blink technically. Well, yeah, we can go to the. We're looking at blink here. This is just not a technically good chart. I mean, it's just not. It's in a downward trend. The first thing you do when you look at a chart is you go to the weekly chart, and you look at see what kind of trend is it. Well, with blink charging, it's a downward trend. So we really don't like to buy in a downward trend. That's one of the main things. That's the first thing that you look at is how's this trending? Well, it's trending lower. So blink charging just doesn't look very good. Now, maybe on the day, if we went to maybe the 60-minute chart, we might see some difference. I mean, we might be trending up. Yeah, we're trending up a little bit today. And we definitely can trade those, but the overall trend is still downward. So I just think that I like to trade stocks that are at the top of their game rather than are trying to recover. You can make a lot of money by buying them off the bottom, but it's really, really tough. That's really, really tough. All right, let's see. I bought my first house yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a deal. Yeah, absolutely. Many years ago, back in the 80s, in the early 80s, I actually was a realtor at one time for about a year in Northern Virginia, and the average rates were 10.5% to 12% interest. And believe me, it was very, very hard to sell a house. It was very hard to sell a house. That's one of the reasons why, I didn't stay in, because at 12% interest, it's very hard to sell a house. But rates will eventually come down, but it's going to be a while. So we're going to have some higher rates. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't, but it is. Let's look at DHI. Let's see. We can do that. DHI. See what we got there. And DR Horton. By the way, the home builders were doing really well. I'm a little bit afraid to buy the home builders right now, because I just think that, with the interest rates going up, I don't see them going that well into the future. DR Horton is the biggest home builder in the world. It's come back down to the 50-day line. There are people buying it because it's got a 91 relative strength, but I just want to stay out of the home builders. I just don't think, at least for right now, that's the place to be in the market. It's got a 78 checklist. So I'd be careful here. I wouldn't be buying DH Horton. I would not be buying it at the moment. All right, Sarah. Thank you. ALGM. Now, this is one I did buy today. This one is ALGM, Allegro Microsystems. I did buy this one today, and I do think that we'll see if I bought it correctly technically. But one of the things in this market, you can see how it had cup, and then it flagged up here, and then it pulled back, and it pulled back to that 50-day line. Buying at the 50-day line, if you can do it on a rising stock, is usually a very good buy technically. Now, you'll notice that's a 99 relative strength. That means it's in the top 1% of all stocks. And more importantly, it's in the top group. It's 3 out of 197. Now, if we were to look at the whole group, let's see if it'll let us do that. We'll get its peers, but this is a good stock. Let's take a look at some of the checklists. It's got a 100% checklist, so I definitely think that's a good place to be. Also, it's almost right at the 21-day line. That's a very good place to buy it. So I think you could buy it at market right now. It's up after hours. I suspect that we're going to get a nice bounce on this one tomorrow, and it may go as high. Well, who knows? But it may go up here, possibly up to about the 50 level. So we'll see. Hopefully, see a bounce on this one tomorrow. But I definitely like this one a lot. And there you go. All right, let's look at gold versus SPY. And see if what stocks are outperforming gold. Good question there. Let's see if we can get that. If we can take a look at that. And I'm just going to go over here and put in gold here, GLD. This is gold is Barrick Gold. It's one of the biggest. It's one of the big three: Barrick, AEM, and what's the other one? Can't remember. But it's one of the big three gold companies. So definitely good to look at here. I'm going to do a comparison between that and the spider, kind of see where it's at. And let's see if we can kind of go over here. So at least over the last year, and this just started to change over the last year, you know, gold has underperformed the spider. So let's go over to the spider. There we go. Here we go. So over the last year or so, GLD, which is Barrick, has underperformed the spider. Now they've both underperformed the overall market too. Look at this. Cash is 100. So if we look at this as cash, so if we put money into the spider or we put money into the gold over the last year, we would have been down. So cash actually was the best performing asset. Kind of weird, isn't that? So, but let's look over the last about 3 months, and that's going to tell the tale. So I'm going to put that in there. Let's see. So, all right. Well, that's not giving us that. Well, we have to kind of put the right month in there. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is going to show us a little bit better kind of what's going on in terms of that. All right. In the last little bit, gold has been outperforming. But remember, I didn't really start talking about gold until the last week of March. And as you can see, that's kind of where it started. I think that we're going to see gold kind of continue its upward trend. The spider, I don't think so much. Part of the reason I think the spider is going to be very, very challenged is because there's so many small banks in the S&P 500. So I think that's going to be an issue. That's going to be an issue. So we got to be super careful there. All right. Well, almost at the end of the show here, let's take a look. NFE. I guess, I don't know. I don't trade NFEs, but let's take a look. NFE. Is that a symbol? Yeah, New Fortress. Okay. Unfortunately, New Fortress isn't providing much protection. Let's take a look at the chart. All right, here's New Fortress. Unfortunately, with New Fortress, we've got a situation again. This is the first thing you do when you analyze a chart is you look at the overall direction, and unfortunately, we have a downward trend. We also have the 50-day moving below that 200-day. That is what they call the death cross. So that's not good. So right now, the overall trend of New Fortress is lower, unfortunately. But we may be seeing the market turn up. But one thing I want to do is I want to look at New Fortress, and I want to compare it with kind of the bellwether, and that is the XLE. And this is going to give us the overall look. I'm going to go. And there we go. Okay, so, and let's go ahead and take a look at the XLE versus New Fortress. And if we look at the XLE and New Fortress, well, you'd be better off just by buying the XLE than New Fortress. It's off in the last 3 months. It's off 30%, whereas the XLE is just about even. So you'd probably be better off not buying the XLE. I mean, not buying New Fortress. So that kind of gives us a look on it. All right, ignore. Okay. Let me talk about blink charging. Okay. Well, everybody, thanks for taking a look at the show today. I'm sorry about the camera thing. I'm going to hopefully have that fixed eventually, but until TikTok allows a oh, you just joined here. Let's see. Just joined quickly. Where are you putting your money? That's a great question. Thank you for that question. Here's stocks that I'm buying right now, and one of them, one of the ones that I did, and let's show you kind of where I'm at right now. I did buy two stocks today. And one of them was Lattice Semiconductor, LSCC, and the other one was Laker Microsystems. ALGM, and I'm going to show you that one that I did buy today. ALGM, and let's take a look at it. Allegro Microsystems, and this is Allegro Microsystems. So looking at the daily chart for Allegro, here we go. There we go. This is Allegro Microsystems right now, and it definitely is in an upward trend. I want to show you, this is part of the reason I like to buy stocks like this, because it has a 100% checklist. It's 100% there. It's also pulling back. It's pulled back. It came up and then it moved up and then it's pulling back. You see, it's going to make another run higher, more than likely. Pulled back to that 50-day line. We want to buy that as it's bouncing off that 50-day line. The relative strength is 99. That makes it in the top 1% of shares right now. So that's the kind of thing we want to look at. So on the technicals, we bought it close to the 50-day, the 21-day line, and we're in an upward trend. Now, I want to take a look at this one and I compare it with another stock that I bought today, and that is Lattice Semiconductor, LSCC. Let's put that in there too. The two that I did buy today. So, and I did buy them on pullbacks. And this is basically the performance over the last. This is the performance over the last 3 months on both of these. So there we go. All right. So let's take a look at Lattice Semiconductor and ALGM. Now I own ALGM and I do own Lattice. In the last 3 months, Lattice is up about 40% and ALGM is up about 55%. Are they going to continue on their upward trend? Who knows? But I definitely think this is where the strength in the market is currently. It's in the it's in the semiconductor sector, but it's not in all semiconductors. It's in LSCC, ALGM. There's a few other ones like Rambus and other ones like that. That's where the strength is, at least for today. Another area of strength in the market, though not so much today, I did take some profits here, is in the gold mining sector. And the gold mining sector, I have two stocks in there. I did sell AEM today, took a little bit of profit on it, but in the gold sector, here's the ones that I do own there as well. Now let's take a look at one of them. Let me show you this here. There we go. So this is Oseko Gold Royalties, and this is a company that owns royalty streams in gold mines. So it's kind of not a mining company, but a royalty company. 96 relative strength. It came down to the 10-day line. I think this is going to bounce tomorrow. I suspect this is going to go above 16. Even in after hours, it's at 16.20. So we pulled down, we tested, and we're probably going to go higher. Here's another thing about OR that I think you might be interested in. It's got a 100% checklist in terms of its buying criteria. Also, if you'll notice, it's just about 5% above that 21-day line. We really don't want to buy it too much higher than about 16.20 because we want to buy it as close to there as the 21-day line as we can. But it's coming out of this cup base. There was a cup handle and then kind of a consolidation and then a movement up. Now, obviously, the best place to have bought would have been right here. But when it pulls back to the 21-day line, cup and then handle down to the line and then buy there. But I didn't get in at that. So I got in a secondary buy point where it started to, it it tested the 10-day line, and then it came back down to it. So that is kind of the long and the short of it. Those are the two areas that I'm most interested in right now: semiconductor fabless and the gold and silver miners. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for taking a look at the show. Please, if you could do me a favor, I would really appreciate this, because it really helps us get out there to a lot of people. And that is, if you could hit that like button. That really helps. And so smash the like button. I definitely like it when you're smashing that like button. And that's a little smash, but really hit that like button hard. Smash that like button. And also, we also have the action trade alerts. They're free, and you can get that by going to www.dallastradingfloor.com and signing up for those. And I'll be back tomorrow at 5. Thank you, everybody, for taking a look. Tell your friends about the show if you're interested in stocks. It's a tough market to trade now, but it's not all bleak. There are some areas of the market that are doing well. One of the areas that's doing well, of course, are the gold miners, and the other area is the semiconductor fabless, but not everybody is participating. So until tomorrow, everybody, happy trading.